Hello everybody. Today I am going to be showing you how to make these super cute bun scrunchies is what I call them. I don't really know what they're actually called, but basically you put your hair up in a bun and you stretch this out and put it over the bun and you have a neat little bit of jewelry for your hair. I made this one earlier today. And what I have for supplies is I have 7 larger beads, which are going to be the ones down here at the base. I got the same exact color, 21 of these medium-sized beads, which are going to be relatively spread out throughout the design. I got 153 of these much smaller iridescent beads. Those are going to be the ones going in between all of the larger beads. I have these larger blue beads over here. There is 14 of these, and these are going to be the split off beads in this area. Oh, there we go, there's some focus. Alright, and then I have these ones here. There's 7 of these, and those are going to be these beads here, where it splits, comes together and splits off from the top to the bottom. Alright, let's get started. What you are going to need is some thread. I'm using Fireline 6-pound thread. I'm going to need some stretchy cord for the bottom so that you can wrap it around your hair. I got 7mm here. And you are going to need a pair of nice scissors and a little bit of patience. So, get a piece of thread, and I usually do about an arm's length, which for my height is relatively about 5 foot. Alright. It's always good to have a little extra versus being short. I was actually short on the other one. I had to improvise, and I had not measured very well. So, alright, first things first is to gather up 7 beads. 5, 6, 7. Oh, and I also have, hidden in this crevice, a flexible bead needle. These are very handy to have. I ordered my first set from Fire Mountain Gems. Of course, those have bent because I use them a lot. And then it took me forever to find some at a local craft store. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, there's some focus. 5. 6, 7. This is not easy trying to watch my phone screen and find a hole. I can see it. There we go. Alright. So I got 7 beads on there. Now with this one, those middle beads were the same size. We're making this ring right here to start off with. With this one, I used some slightly bigger beads. So you can really use any combination of sizes for beads, you know, as long as you kind of keep the same smaller and then split off. You know, experiment a little bit. You never know what size. I mean, you can even use just one long bead in replacement of these smaller beads. So just kind of make things your own. And what I usually do is I make a ring. So feed the needle back through these 7. And then I bring it all the way down to the end. To the last little bit. There's the tail. So hold nice and tight to that tail. Got a little bit of a tangle here, forgive me. Let me straighten that out. And then just pull, oops. Pull the string until you get a circle. Now you don't want this to be too tight. I've made that mistake before in the past where I made this ring kind of tight and then it was very hard to kind of get the beads to move around and do what you would like them to do. So just a nice knot. Go. I always try and reinforce my knots, so I'm going to do one more. What happened there? Apparently my knot decided to go around this last bead, so I have to kind of kick it out. There we go. And that's why I always double check my knots, because I never know what they want to do. Alright. Get that nice and tight. And then I have this thing about hiding my knots. I'm not sure if everybody does that. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure not everybody does it. But I'll go through one bead to hide that knot underneath another bead, and I do this with my bracelets as well. I sell jewelry at flea markets and farmers markets. I say me as in I make the jewelry and my dad takes it with him when he goes to the markets because he makes things that he sells as well. But I would like to make it out there myself one day. Alright, so knot is now hidden underneath this bead here. And then cut the tail with my nice new scissors that don't like to cut very well. Alright, so now we have our beginner's circle. 7 beads, which is going to produce 7 spires out from the middle. Let's get started on those spires. So I had this together once before, and a mistake was made. So I had to take it apart and redo it. Sorry for the camera movement. But, so 2 clear beads. And a silver. And then 2 more clear beads. This is making this section right here. That's right there. Alright, and then I'm going to be adding one of the larger, which in this one is this blue bead here. Alright. Then after that, we have 3 more beads coming down. So 1, 2, 3. And drop that down. And then after those 3 beads is this conjoint bead there, which in this one I'm using these silver. Goodness gracious, I really wish I My camera was a little bit better on this, but okay, so the silver bead there. Alright, let's throw that guy on there. Alright, then after that, we have 2 more beads of the iridescent. And then one of these larger beads, which is another silver here. And then some more of these smaller beads. Alright, sorry for that. We are back with making the little hair bun accessories. And I know a lot of people would think that they need a lot of hair to make a bun and put this into their hair, but seriously, my hair is slightly less than shoulder length and I'm able to make a very small bun and wear these. I actually wore one yesterday at work and got lots of compliments from the customers and, you know, just people being around the store. So you don't need a ton of hair for this. Alright, so before we had made our ring and then we had started placing the pattern on, we are down now here into the bottom area where we're going to be putting this guy on right now, which is this much larger silver bead. Alright, so that guy goes on, and then we have another iridescent bead right there. Get 2 of those guys on. So now that we've hit the bottom of the loop that we are making, we are going to continue back up and we are going to be kind of going in reverse now. So we have this silver bead and then 2 iridescent beads, and then this silver one here. Now I'll admit it's going to seem a little confusing at first, especially if you've never done a lattice work thing like this before. So just bear with me and you will start to see it take form. The first loop is always the hardest because it's just not what the pattern would look like normally. You know, there's a lot of split offs that are not happening at this moment because you're just starting. So like, you know, this one right here, this brown bead, you have 2 coming in and 2 coming out. And right now we don't see that because our silver beads are right here. And there's only 1 in and 1 out, but I promise it will be there later. Alright, so got back up to the big blue one. And this is where we thread back in to these beads here. Now you don't go into the ring, just, you know, the end of the spire that you have, or maybe it's a spoke, like spoke on a bicycle wheel. Might be easier to think of it that way. And my needle's being a butthead, sorry about that. Okay, and pull it all nice and through, get our beads up, and oh, that's weird. Okay, so like I said, sometimes it's a little complicated trying to figure out what you're doing in the beginning, and I have accidentally added on 2 extra beads for some reason. So let's go back. I don't even remember doing that. I must have been too focused on explaining and not enough focus on what I was doing there. You know, this is actually a pretty good moment for people who are just starting out. They get very intimidated by us experts because a little while back I was into steampunk stuff and I was making my own things, and I made this awesome little teacup hat, and my one friend who was also really into steampunk just absolutely adored the hat, and actually I still have to make her one, but she says that she would love to do stuff like that, but she just doesn't think that she has the skills and everything to make such nice things that, you know, she sees online and she sees me making. And I tell her all the time, you know, every expert out there, everyone who ever says that they are an expert at anything in life was once upon a time a beginner, was once upon a time new. You know, nobody's ever born just knowing all this stuff. You have to learn, you have to teach yourself. So don't ever be intimidated by something you see thinking, oh, it's so pretty, they're such an expert. There's no such thing. We're all still learning. All right. So, removed my two stowaways, and now we have this. That's our first loop. And this is the bottom, where the scrunchy part will eventually go through, and this is the middle. All right. Now, we go through one bead on the loop. And we pull it through. It seems like a lot of thread, but believe me, you are going to use it up. All right, and time for our second spoke. So as before, we feed out the spoke, two clear beads, one smaller gray bead, two more clear beads, all right, and then a nice big blue one, three more clear, okay, feed that all down. Now we're here, which is right here in our previous loop. So we need a silver, two more clear, and then this gray one there, these pearls are really nice, but sometimes their holes are just a little clogged up. I get a lot of my bead supplies from Michael's, Joanne Fabrics. It's actually one of my favorite places to go, and Fire Mountain Gems, which is an unhealthy habit for me to be ordering from them because I get those $1 bead alerts for sales, and next thing I know, I'm spending $200 in $1 beads. So yeah, but even though it may be an unhealthy habit, it is healthier than some, as I always used to tell my ex-husband. At least it's not cocaine. So trying to justify my own spending sprees. All right, so here is a critical point in our design. So we have gotten all the way to where we would be hitting this second bead. But instead of putting a new one on, we are going to feed through this one. And that is where our 2 in and 2 out on this bead comes into play. So we feed that through and try not to tangle up. Try not to tangle up. All right. And there you go. Lay that back flat where we can see. All right, so to our first loop on this design. Now we add 3 more. All right, and that's these 3 right here. 1 more big blue. And it's time to go back up our little spear there. So go back through. Oops, sorry if you can't see very well. There we go. All right. So back through these beads here until you get to the very top and out. Now I will show you this one more time. All right, and then I will take a quick pause until we get to the last loop. Save you guys some time on your video watching. But there you go. So first loop, second loop, and where they connect. So as before, we feed through the next bead right there, out the other side. All right, make that nice and tight and repeat. So we need 2 and silver, and 2 more, all right, and that makes our nice little spoke there, and then the blue, 3 more of these nice clear beads, and then this nice little silver one right after that, 2 more clear, the silver one here, 2 more clear, nice big silver or gray, 2 more clear, all right, and we are almost at that point where we would be connecting with the other. We just need 1 more of these small gray ones. And 2 more clear. All right. 1, 2. So now we are back in that point to where we need to start feeding through the older loop. So then we go through this silver on the previous loop, pull it through. I'll try and keep it flat this time while I pull everything. Maybe it'll be easier to see. All right, and then we need 1, 2, 3 clear right there. Oops. I love small beads. All right, and then the big blue one right there. And then we go back up spoke, like it did last time. All 5 back up to the middle ring, and that completes our 3rd loop. Pull it nice and tight. Now it's nice to leave them kind of loose, but you don't want it too loose because then the beads just kind of move around weird. Alright, so I am going to pause my video here. I'm going to make the remaining 1, 2, 3 loops, and then when I get back to this 7th loop, then I will bring you back for the finale, and you will see the entire it actually, kind of funny enough, reminds me of my great-grandma's doilies that she used to make eons ago when she was alive and crocheting. So I guess our bead doily that we are in process of making to make my hair bun cover. So I will be right back. As everything is gone, we are now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I am finishing up the 6th part of our little net here. So I'm at the big blue bead, and I am about to feed it back through this area. Alright, there is my needle right there. Alright, so, and tug it a little. Alright, so now we are on this last bit right here, which is going to connect this whole thing together. So, go through this bead here. And now we are in between the last 2 beads of our circle. Once again, follow the pattern. Notice right now I do not have any more of the silver beads that were in this tray, the ones right here, because all the ones that we are going to need are already on there. We are just going to be connecting them now. Alright, 1 big blue bead, and then 1, 2, 3. Alright. So now at this point, we are going to take our needle through this silver bead here and going down. That was our first loop right there when we started. Here's our last big silver bead, and those are going to become important in the next phase of making this bun cover. Don't really know what to call them. I keep debating on what I want to call this. So, alright, back over to the other side. So now we are back at the silver bead, and we fish it through this side like we have been with the rest. Sometimes they just want to be a little difficult going through, but it's because this needle is so flexible is that anytime it gets even the littlest bit of resistance, it just bends and it doesn't want to go where you want it to go. Which, you know, the flexibility is great when you're trying to get in between beads, kind of like right now, but when you're just trying to get the darn bead on, sometimes it wants to be a butthead. Alright, so we went, oops, and I did that same thing I did before where I put too many beads. Oh wait, no, okay, I see what I did. I went in reverse being a goofball. So instead of putting 3 silver and then the blue, I accidentally did the blue and then the silver. So let's go back. And I'm sorry if you are going to start following me and watching my tutorials. I have a tendency to do this kind of stuff. I don't know why. I get lost in my head thinking about the next step, and then I forget about the step that I'm on, and I just do something really freaking goofy that I didn't mean to do, and I have to go back. So, alright. That's why it's also a very good idea to always watch tutorials all the way through before just blindly following them, because then you get to laugh at the silliness and not do it yourself. Alright, back through, oops, almost had them all there. Back through the 5. And there you go, voila. Got a nice little, forgive me, alright, so you got a nice little, I'm trying to flatten it out, nice little star. And you got all your splits and your conjoins. And this is exactly what you want, a nice wide flat circle that lays nicely when you set it down. Alright, I'm going to pause you for a second and be right back. Okay, if you can't hear me, I'm very sorry. My phone is saying something can't record audio. Another app is using the mic, which is weird because I'm not using any other app. So, anyways, got this nice and done. I had tied off and fed the string through one of these spires, and I cut it off at the end here, so the knot's up here and it's hiding in one of these. So next step is the stretchy cord. I usually use from fingertip to right around my elbow. There we go. And then cut. And this is where the big beads take place, at the end of each thing. So take stretchy cord, feed it through, and then you put 3 on here. And then you grab the next big bead, feed it through there. And then you have 2 big beads and 3 in the middle. You continue this all the way around until you get to the end. There you go. Alright, and you're starting to see that it's bunching up. And you want that bunching up. Alright, so we are getting to the end. Since this one is longer on this side, I'm going to switch sides. Alright, and we grab this guy here, feed it through. Alright. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Alright, so we're at the very last one. So all these big beads we had before, and there's 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because you had 7 little things to make the loops. So right here, we have our last connection, and we're just going to tie a knot. Now with stretchy cord, I'm a little fancy with my knots. I do 1, 2 loop throughs for the middle knot. I always try to be careful because there's been more than one time where I tried to pull this knot tight and beads end up everywhere because I pulled a little too tight. Plus you don't really want this too tight because you want it to be able to go over the hair. So I'll just kind of stretch that out, and then I do one more knot to kind of tie it all together. And that makes a little bit more solid of a knot. Now, some people will glue their knots, and I will be honest, I have wanted to do that, but I'm just not sure. I know some glues don't react very well with elastic, so then I just do the triple knot, and then I hide my knot in the middle of a bead if I'm capable to do so, because then the weight of the bead going in on the knot on all sides helps keep that knot from falling apart. I actually pulled a little too far, and it went all the way through the bead, so now I gotta pull it back. And it doesn't want to go back. I don't know if you can see. Oh, of course you can't see because it's not focused. Alright, so right there is where my knot came through on the one side, so I just need to get it back through on this side so that's in the middle of the bead and not on the edge. Of course, it doesn't help when I'm pulling both strings. And this is where I usually have an accident from pulling a little. Oh, and it went through again. Alright, I can get in the middle. There we go. Perfect. Alright, and then my knot is underneath this bead, so this bead is pushing in on that knot and is going to keep it from falling apart. And then clip and clip, and there you go. Perfect little bun cover to go with the collection. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be honest, it is my very first tutorial video, so if you could like and comment below on what I need to improve. I have a feeling there's going to be at least one person that's going to say, please do not talk so much. But sorry, it's just me. Anyways, so hope you enjoyed this. Hope you love making these. I think that they are incredibly cute, especially on kids for parties and singing concerts and all that stuff. You know, you can make one to just do one bow, or you can even, or not bow, bun, or you can make, you know, a pair of pigtail buns, and if you have 2 matching ones, you could put one on either side of the kid's head, and I think it would just be super cute. And then, you know, it's even cute for adults. Like I said, I wear these to work, nothing fancy, and, you know, people they just think it's cool because it's something unique that they don't see very often. You can't buy these in stores that I've ever seen. So, got that one, and that one. And this one I did find in a store, and that's what started all of this, is I found this one in a store. I was taking a look at it, and it's like, you know what, I think I can make that, and I was right, I can make it. So, have a lovely day, and check in for more tutorials.